Hey, it's Cavallo from datingfire.com and datingadviceguru.com. Welcome back. I wondered where you were, because this one is one you're going to want to see. That's right, we're talking about how to get his attention back. If you've ever lost the attention of a guy, you know that it can be pretty crushing inside. You want to get it back, and you want to get it back fast. Well, that's what I'm going to show you today, and we're going to do it without making you look desperate. Duh, this is a no-brainer. Stick with me. And hey, while you're watching this and hanging loose and free, because what else we got to do, why don't you do the big three? Like and subscribe, because this is good stuff. You want to come back for more of it. And of course, turn on the notifications so you know when the next video comes out. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave that in the comment section below. You can be in a real panic when a guy stops paying attention to you or he starts ignoring you. When you feel a guy slipping away, you can think about, well, basically all you can think about is how you can get his attention back as fast as possible and without looking desperate. Now, if you can sense that he's lost his enthusiasm for you, you don't want to be pushy to get him back. Unfortunately, this is a pretty common situation for most women, right? You may have even experienced this yourself when you liked somebody and then you suddenly felt your feelings fade away. He sensed it and then he did his own panic, right? If you've had this happen to you, you can probably totally relate to this guy's feelings. It doesn't mean that he isn't interested or that you might have even said something or did something that turned him off or angered him. His feelings could just be waning all on their own. Now, the early stages of a relationship is just an unstable place to be, right? It's always so uncertain. It's so crazy. Of course, there are no guarantees, but there are some ways that you can make him start to come back to your relationship in some way. You may have even found yourself asking, how do you get his attention when he ignores you? Or is he withdrawing or losing interest? He might have been interested in you, but suddenly he seems to have lost his interest in the relationship. Anytime that a man pulls away from a relationship, it starts creating this panic inside you, and you want to relieve that anxiety by fixing it as fast as possible. Now, a guy can withdraw from a relationship for a variety of reasons, including absolutely no reason at all. And if you didn't really realize it, and if you don't realize it in time, you might turn around and start chasing him simply because he pulled away for a day or two, which ironically makes him run away even faster. So why do men pull away from relationships and appear disinterested? Keep in mind that men are dealing with the facts of a slightly different world experience. Now, what I mean by this is he doesn't experience the world quite like you do. In fact, the biggest way that he experiences life differently is that a man deals with his problems one at a time. That's right. A man is usually single-minded. He's single-focused on solving the most important problem that he has in front of him. And if you're not a problem, which you probably aren't if you're his girlfriend or more than that, that means he's occasionally going to shift his attention over to his real most important problem. Men are focused on one thing at a time. We do not multitask. A man can really only pay attention to one thing at a time, and if he has a problem, he's going to focus there. So you see, his not paying attention to you is actually kind of a compliment. It means he doesn't see your relationship as something temporary or falling apart. He trusts in your connection. That's what he does. In other words, he doesn't feel like he has anything to worry about with you. There's no problem. And that is probably the highest compliment a man can give to your relationship. Men simply don't need to constantly ping you to feel like you're there. Now, don't forget, men need space to start feelings of love for you. Men need a lot of alone time to do things that make them feel more masculine. They need to be able to relieve stress in their lives and process their own thoughts and feelings. And for that, they need alone time. He doesn't do this with other men or other women. He does it alone. Now, one of the most common reasons that men pull away from relationships is when he feels that you're being, I hate to say it, but a little needy. It may sound a little bit like a cliche, but you have to avoid letting your perception of his interest, in other words, what you think he's thinking, define your confidence in yourself. It's the oldest message in the book, but it's absolutely critical for your relationship. Always look at yourself in contrast to the feminine ideal. Who is that? This feminine ideal I talk about is the confident, high-value woman. Now, a high-value woman will leave a relationship that isn't working. Yes, she does this all on her own. She can walk away. She never accepts any kind of mistreatment. She doesn't need a lot of reassuring. She has secure attachment to herself. She's independent. She starts out with trust in her man until he proves otherwise. If you start out with mistrust in him, guess what's going to happen? That's right, he's going to live up to your expectations. Sometimes the hardest thing to accept in a relationship is that you might need to work on these things. For the simple fact that confidence is the most difficult thing to cultivate in yourself, but the single most important thing to a relationship. There's just no getting around it. If you're running from your own insecurities, he's going to notice it and he's going to run too. Now, how do you know if he has lost interest in you, or are you overthinking it? Perhaps the most important question I can ask you is if you are interested in your own life. Do you find your own life interesting? Because if you're not interested in your own plans in your life right now, then a romantic relationship is going to be difficult for you. Just about every relationship expert is going to tell you the exact same thing. When a man feels attraction for you, he usually feels it because he wants a romantic relationship with a confident woman. I know you wanted to hear something different there, but that's what it is. Unfortunately, it comes right down to that. Now, there's a ton of ideas about these traits that the guy's looking for, like a sense of humor, an independent woman, a woman who can give him space as well as time to be a man. And of course, all of those things they're valid. They're absolutely necessary. But ultimately, he has to feel like you are interested in you first, not him. If he senses that all you want is attention, or you're just trying to create a relationship so you can feel secure about your own life, he's going to notice that. He's going to pull away. So what do you do when he's losing interest? How do you get him to come back fast? Well, as it turns out, getting him to come back to you fast is not as difficult as it might seem. Get his attention back by stop being a pushover. One of the most common ways that women lose control over a relationship with a man is by letting him walk all over her. She's so concerned about not losing him that she thinks the best thing she can do is to make things really easy for him. This is how you sell yourself out. The single most repulsive thing in a relationship is when you sense that the other person is desperate for you. Think about yourself right now. If you've ever had someone pursue you out of desperation, you know what I mean. If you're too accommodating, if you're too agreeable, that tells people you must be lacking in something, right? We pick up on our social radar that you are not secure and you're not confident. You never want to signal to him that you are so desperate to please him that you have no standards or boundaries. When you let a man walk on you like this, like a doormat, he soon realizes that you have no real value in a relationship to him. We all want what is hard to get, not easy to get. They don't call it playing easy to get. Don't play that game. It's bad. One of the easiest ways to show that you're not a pushover is to tell him no. As in, no, I can't make you dinner tonight. No, you can't sleep over tonight. No, you can't show up on my doorstep at 2 a.m. to jump in bed with me. Now, the bottom line is, you know when you've compromised your own ideals. You do, don't you? Come on, admit it. You know when you've done this and you've gone too far. So start to value yourself. Be sure that he knows that you're ready and willing and able to walk away from him at any moment. If he should misbehave, that's his penalty. Now, many times, a man simply needs to be put in his place when he starts acting like a bratty little boy. And this goes triple for any man that you sense was kind of a mama's boy. So how do you show him that you're not needy or insecure? Here you go. Make it absolutely clear that you don't want anything from him. Obviously, in a relationship, we do want something from the other person. It's typically what? Love, attention, affection, and all that other stuff. If there's one place we don't want to feel like we're bartering, it's in a relationship or in love. But here's the facts. Nothing turns a guy off faster than the sense that a girl expects something from him. Okay, or that she wants something from him besides a fun connection with him. That's the intro, that's the start of this whole package of love for a guy. He's got a sense that there's just fun connection to be had. Now, you might be thinking that projecting that would make him simply take advantage of you, right? And not consider you as a serious relationship candidate. That he would just think of you as a friend with benefits. This simply isn't true. A man is most likely to fall in love and commit his heart to the woman who needs him the least and gives to him because she actually wants to, not because she has to or she's trying to obligate him. When a guy senses that you're fun, relaxed, that you have value, he's going to chase you to the ends of the earth. So ask yourself, how are you communicating your value to him right now? Look, I can go through all the cliches with you. I can tell you that you got to look the best you can. You got to feel the best you can about yourself. You got to get your control over your thinking and your emotions. But the number one way to get this guy to come back and really want you again is to control your thinking and your emotions. And the easy way to do this is simply by understanding what men want. If you get it, if you know the reason why a guy feels interest for one woman over another, you're not going to get lost. You'll know what to do and you'll know when to do it. Now, on the other hand, if you don't know what men want, you're going to probably keep making the same mistakes over and over again. If you've ever repeated a mistake or some kind of pattern in your relationships, you know what I mean. You've got to break the endless cycle of this. If you want to find a connection and happiness with a man, you've got to be able to hone in on what a man is looking for right away. You don't have time to experiment. You don't have time to hope that destiny will make him propose to you. The reason a man chooses one woman over another is always the same. She knows, the woman he chooses knows how to show him the signs and signals he's looking for, and that she's the one for him, that she's his soulmate. Do you want to know how to do this? I can show you. Just jump on my newsletter list. It's the easiest way to get this thing started. You can learn the true secrets to getting a man to desire and commit to you. Go to this little link you see below me here, datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. You can ask me a question, or if you don't have a question, just put your email in there and get my free book and my free newsletter with more videos and more articles and podcasts. It's the simplest thing to do for you, and you're going to know exactly where to go and what to do. You're lucky. You found me. You found the Carlos, and now you can get going on this path, this plan, because that's what most women I'm finding are lacking these days. They're winging it. They're taking articles out of magazines and reading books randomly and going on the internet randomly or listening to their friends, which is probably the worst thing to do. Get started right now with my free ebook on the 7 mistakes that women make that make men pull away. Just go to the link below me here, right here. Yes, datingfire.com/Ask Carlos. Go on over and grab yours now. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingfire.com. Before you run, do the big 3. Like and subscribe because you want to, not because you gotta. This is good stuff. You can get more of my videos. And number 2, make sure you turn on the notifications, that little bell indicator. Number 3, if you've got a comment or you want to suggest a video, leave that in the comment section below. What do you think? Are these some of the ways that you've tried to get his attention back fast? Have you ended up looking desperate? Leave some of that in the comment section below. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingfire.com. As always, live and love with passion.